Hello, my name is Malika Shelvin, and this is my presentation on philosophies in education and their impact. What is philosophy? Philosophy is the study of what enables us as humans to understand who we are, why we are here, and where we're going. Philosophy of education allows us to identify specific educational principles that align our views of the learner, the teacher, and the school. Branches of philosophy. Metaphysics. What is the nature of reality? Metaphysics asks, is human nature good, evil, spiritual, mental, or physical? It also compares ontology and cosmology. Ontology is what it means to be, and cosmology is the origin of the universe. Epistemology is what is the nature of knowledge? Epistemology questions the limits of knowledge, how we know what we know, through the use of scientific inquiry, intuition, senses, and feelings. It also compares deductive versus inductive reasoning. Deductive is from general to specific information, while inductive is specific to general information. And finally, axiology. What is the value? What is the nature of values? Axiology determines what is of value, applying a set of norms to human behavior or beauty. Axiology compares ethics versus aesthetics. Ethics being human conduct and aesthetics being beauty, nature, and art. Here are some traditional Western philosophies. Idealism's primary focus is the world of the mind, reasons, and ideas. Metaphysics says mind over matter. Reality is intellectual or spiritual and not material. Epistemology says all knowledge includes the use of the mind, using logic, reason, and remnants. And axiology says that values are absolute and eternal. With realism, the primary focus is the universe and matter. Things are greater than ideas. Reality is mind and body, or matter and form. Epistemology says that knowing comes from perception, rational thinking, and sensing. And axiology says that values are absolute, eternal, and derived from laws of nature. Neotheism's primary focus is belief in God and guiding by rational law. Metaphysics says God gives meaning and purpose to the universe, essence, and existence. Epistemology says through faith and capacity to reason, we can come to know God. And axiology says goodness follows reason, and values are unchanging moral laws established by God. Here are some contemporary philosophies. Pragmatism, or experimentalism's primary focus is on the experience or things that work. Metaphysics says reality is the product of the interaction with an ever-changing environment. Epistemology says knowledge is arrived at by scientific inquiry, testing, questioning, and retesting, and is never conclusive. And axiology says value is tentative and situational. Existentialism's primary focus is on the world of existence, choice, and responsibility. Metaphysics says as existence precedes essence. Epistemology says the way we come to know truth is by choice. We must choose. And axiology says choice is imperative for determining value and ethical actions. Analytic philosophy's primary focus is the clarification on joint roles of science and philosophy. Philosophic analysis can help formulate beliefs, arguments, and assumptions about teaching and learning processes. Followers of analytic philosophy suggest raising questions about assumptions we make, values we hold, and languages we speak. To understand the connections between concepts and ethical values. Some major Eastern philosophies are Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. Hinduism sees the entire universe as one divinity that is perfect, eternal, supreme reality. Buddhism is concerned with living a moral life and using meditation as an avenue to spiritual development and insight. Confucianism is concerned with the existence in the world and the relationships between people. Social harmony is a result of knowing your place in the world and striving for self-improvement. Taoism is concerned with living a good and moral life in harmony with nature. Followers of Taoism believe that Tao is the only way, unchanging and infinite, similar to a river. Next, I will talk about the theory of education. Theory of education is a collection of statements and systematic thoughts about education. A theory of education allows teachers to explain what they do and why they do it. The major theories of education include perennialism, progressivism, behaviorism, essentialism, social constructivism, and postmodernism. All of these theories are a result of protests against the social and educational climate of the times. First, I will start with perennialism. Perennialism focuses on universal realities and eternal truths that all rational beings innately have. The goal is to return to the past to seek understanding of reason and faith. The curriculum includes cognitive subjects like philosophy, mathematics, history, geography, and other liberal arts that are more primarily focused on, as well as character training and moral development. The impact that this theory has is the followers of this theory advocated for all students to have access to the same high-quality education that included language, math, literature, social studies, fine arts, and history, as opposed to just vocational or technical curriculum. Next, I will talk about pragmatism. Pragmatism focuses on how people can progress as human beings and how to improve themselves through solving real-world problems in a cooperative learning environment. It encourages the learner to seek procedures that yield the most desirable results, and schools should model life. This curriculum is centered around experiences and is generally relevant and reflective. This theory focuses its curriculum on gaining experiences and not predetermined truths or mastering facts. This curriculum would be integrated, interdisciplinary, and responsive to the previous experiences and interests of the student. Its impact: the followers of pragmatism introduced the idea of a strong teacher and student interaction that can become a model for other lifelong relationships. Next, I will talk about behaviorism. Behaviorism focuses on the concept of behavior linked directly to an external stimulus. The idea is that education can be reached by behavior modification in a socially accepted way. Behaviorists focus primarily on human predictability and control obtained by manipulating the environment to achieve a desired response. The curriculum is not interested in content as much as it is interested in environmental variables such as teaching materials, instructional methods, and teacher classroom behaviors, and how these variables influence learners' behavior. The impact that this theory has had. Behaviorism is still followed widely, and the practice of analyzing and modifying behaviors has proved helpful for students with autism and other developmental disabilities. Next, I will talk about essentialism. Essentialism is the idea that there is a concrete and identifiable body of knowledge and skills that must solely be passed from one generation to the next. They believe modern American schools are too excessive with attempts to provide equality in educational standards. Equality and educational standards suffer as a result. The purpose of this school is to train the intellect and transmit cultural heritage to the next generation. The curriculum includes skills and academic subjects that aid in human productivity as well as survival and political democracy. Primarily, students focus on reading, math, and writing. Students would then advance to history, geography, natural sciences, and foreign language. Frivolous subjects would be avoided. The impact. Upon realizing students in American schools weren't performing as well as others, essentialists proposed the Back to Basics movement, which recommended the main subjects such as social sciences, computer science, and math and natural science. Next, I will talk about social reconstructism. Social reconstructism focuses on the need for a societal revision and education playing a vital role in the improvement of society. Reconstructionists believe that modern education failed to deal with the social issues of the time, like war or hunger, and instead further perpetuated the oppression of marginalized groups. Curriculum. The curriculum reflects democratic ideals and highlights civic education. They also focus on critical theory and critical literacy that help students understand and consider societal issues. Once considered, they are guided to an equitable solution. The impact. Practices that align with social reconstruction, like the addition of a social justice-based curriculum, have found their way into many modern classrooms. Finally, I will talk about postmodernism. Postmodernism focuses on studying and analyzing and making assumptions about modern institutions, also known as who has the power. They use their findings to uncover inequities in dominant cultures versus marginalized groups. The curriculum believes in emphasizing social justice and cultural politics, as well as stories from underrepresented racial groups. Curriculum should teach critical literacy that promotes identifying limits in freedom, justice, and democracy. The impact. The ideas of postmodernism help find alternatives to masculine-oriented concepts and theories throughout time, and is one of the most influential philosophies in education today. Thank you for listening. I'm Malika Shelvin.